All right, well, welcome. Here we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Deer Creek Fiddlers Convention, a Maryland tradition since 1972. And we're welcoming today Ken Kolodner, who I'm told attended one of the first uh, Deer Creek conventions. And that might, he's saying the first one, and it's what got him started in this traditional music world. So you were there in 1972, Ken?
Yeah, it was because I was trying to remember if it was I was like right after my I think it was my after my senior year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was remembering, anyways. When we went, it was a bunch of us from my high school friends went out to wherever it was. It was actually at Deer Creek back in
Right.
those days, right? It was on the little river, and we took our inner tubes, and we thought we weren't really exactly sure what it was. We said
Mm-hmm.
that we heard there were going to be people playing music, and we could go out there and bring our inner tubes and maybe do some other fun things. And
Yeah.
yeah, you can probably imagine what that was
Yeah.
in those days. And so yeah, so I went out there, and but I was just blown away by people playing together. It just looked like so much fun.
Yeah. So, and I think that was in Hereford. We're going to find out more about that exactly where it was because
Right,
it's been in three places at the original Deer Creek, I guess. And then it moved to another farm somewhere, and
right,
then eventually to the Carroll County Farm Museum, which is
exactly,
where it's been now for 30 years or more, I guess.
right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it's, yeah.
so you all of a sudden you saw these people playing music and it changed your life, right?
Well, so it took a little while. So it really stuck in my head just how much fun folks had playing music, and and then I went off to college, and at that time I did not play music. But each summer I would go to Deer Creek and uh, just have fun and hang out with friends, and had no intention of learning to play music, but I just thought people had a great time. And it was after college, it sticking in my head. Maybe someday I could learn to play the fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
And but I had taken piano lessons for about a couple months as a kid, and I absolutely hated it. And I just wanted to be outside playing with the other kids, and not be playing piano. And so it was kind of like a, a negative experience in a way that I thought I could never do that. I could never be a musician or play music. It's just not something that I'm going to do in my life. And but then I went to college and saw lots of people. I went to a school that had a conservatory in music, and I would keep coming back to Deer Creek and um, going to concerts, bluegrass concerts and old time concerts, whatever. And it stuck into my head, and I finally decided I'm going to do that. I remember
Ah,
talking. There was a fiddler named a guy named Red. I don't remember who he was. His name was Red, and I remember talking to him about uh,
uh-huh.
learning to play. It
Yeah.
was at Deer Creek, and I just thought that would be. It's going to be. I'm going to do that someday. And so it was a little bit after college is when I picked it up and returned to Deer Creek with my fiddle in my hand.
There you
So
go. And the
yeah,
rest is history. Yeah, it's really interesting how events like this can, create community, inspire people to do things. I think in public school education or formal music education, it sticks with some people. But for those of us who are a little bit ADD, it doesn't get to the core of what we want to do immediately,
right.
which is we want to play. We want to play some music, and that's when people playing music together. You get that.
Yeah.
You get that.
Well, what just hit me was just how much fun it looked like for everyone to be playing together.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that just stuck in my head, and I couldn't get it out of there. And I said, all right, I'm going to do this. And I picked up the fiddle and just started to teach myself, not realizing the fiddle is actually kind of a hard instrument to
Yeah.
learn to play.
Doesn't have any frets.
No, and but I guess I was too dumb to actually know that it was hard, so I just said I'm going to do this. And then I that's actually Deer Creek is also where I met I started to play music with Chris Norman. He was out there, a flute player. He entered the contest playing in the special instruments category on penny whistle, and I had started to play the hammered dulcimer, so I also entered on hammered dulcimer, and he won. I came in second, and that one year, and but we decided we would play music together. We started to play, and then I don't know. I think it was in 1985 when we were out there performing together, and we met Robin Bullock. This guy comes up to us and just saying how much he likes our music, and we were actually Chris and I heard him playing. He was playing something like Saint Ansariel or some fiddle tune, flat picking. And we said, wow, this guy is really, we could tell he was just like a cut above, and we said, who is this guy? And and he knew of us. So we decided to start playing music together. So that was the beginning of what became a trio called Helicon.
Yeah, I think that happens at a lot of these kinds of festivals and these conventions where people gravitate to one another. They hear something, they meet somebody, and then there you go. And I'm sure it happens all over the country, but for Maryland, it's always been for 50 years. It's been the Deer Creek Fiddlers Convention.
Yep.
And we're hoping it'll do another 50 years.
Yes.
And
we might not always be around for all those.
We may not. We may not. But it's great to hear your history with it. Ken, I remember I knew you before I moved back to Maryland, but I remember running into you at one of the Deer Creek festivals, and at that time in 1994 there were two per summer.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. And then it whittled down to one.
Right.
And now there are so many gatherings, a lot of festivals that you really sort of in 1972 and in the mid 70s, it was a real sweet spot of incredible activity.
Yes.
And maybe that'll come again. We need another great movie, or will The Circle Be Unbroken?
Right.
3,
or brother, Where Art Thou, or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Sister, Where Are You? Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Well, Ken, thanks.
Yeah, I was just going to add one thing. Dave Green, who is one of the founders, I also knew him from pickup soccer, believe it or not, way back in. And when I saw him at Deer Creek, I was like, wait, I know you. So let me turn that off. Sorry about that. So that was another little connection I just thought about.
Interesting. From soccer and old time music.
Right.
And we're going to be interviewing David and Megan and others. There were like 4 people who really were the driving force in this.
Right.
And it's my understanding that it came from them going down to, I think, Mount Airy. They'd been to a Southern festival and said, Maryland needs one of these.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So there we go. Well, Ken, thanks so much. And
sure.
And for this perspective on Deer Creek, and hey, I hope you'll attend this year virtually.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to it coming back in person as well. That's
we can't wait.
Next summer.
And we'll see you at Traditions Weeks too.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Ken.
All right. Take care. See you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.